Welcome everybody to another episode of Candid Convos, and today's guest is Chelsea Williams. Chelsea, thank you for joining us. Do you mind making your own introduction, letting people know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've come to call myself the money whisperer, and people always look at me funny when I say that. But basically what that means, I'm a fractional CFO. I've built an accounting company, and the money whisperer part comes in because I have a personal interest in human psychology and how our brain works and how we make connections and neurobiology and all of these things that have really helped me to view money through the lens of human nature, which makes it a lot easier to help people with the very non-human numbers.
Mm-hmm. And a quick question, Chelsea, how did you get into that line of business? Like, why working with accounting? Why a fractional and not a full-time?
Yeah, it was an accident. It was a complete accident. I was of the generation where when I was in high school, they were trying to funnel us into healthcare. And so I listened to and I went to college for healthcare. And one of the courses was accounting. And admittedly, I had no idea what it was at all. Mm-hmm. And so I took the class, and very quickly, I just realized that accounting and my brain are like best friends. And so I ran with it. And most people hate accounting. And so I'm like, if I love this thing that most people hate, I should probably run with this. And so it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and I've been through different positions. I was VP at a tax and accounting firm here where I live for 4 years. And then I created my virtual accounting company a little over 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That was my next question. Like, how long have you been like open for business? Because you do have a business. Like, do you mind telling us a little bit about it and how it got started?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started when I was 7 months pregnant with my son. And my goal, coming from a traditional tax and accounting world, my goal was to do things a little bit differently. Because what I observed there were a lot of common struggles and frustrations that plague the accounting industry. And my goal was to create something totally different. So right away, I realized that I wanted to be virtual, number one, which was not common when I started. It positioned us really nice for COVID, though. You know, everybody was kind of having to go virtual, and we're kind of sitting over here like, we got it. Like we were already here. So it made that a much easier time for us, being virtual. And one of my other goals, I really wanted to employ women, who specifically mothers who had kids, because in the traditional brick and mortar tax and accounting office, especially during tax season, you know, we were missing our kids' school activities. We were missing and having to, you know, figure out how to schedule the dentist appointments and the doctor's appointments and all the things that we need to do as mothers, that is just a little bit more difficult when you're stuck in a 9-to-5 brick and mortar business. So being virtual was very important to me. And it's been a journey. When I first started, the first 12 months, I was able to generate 6 figures in revenue. And I think the reason why that was, when I started, a lot of my clients sought me out from where I had left. And so that told me, you know, like, I'm really onto something here. Like we can do this, right? And so it worked. And 2 years in, we actually started growing faster than we could keep up with. And we caught it in time. And what we did is we actually stopped taking new clients, because one of our big things is we don't want to sacrifice quality. Okay. Right? Even if that means saying no to growth right now, we stopped taking clients and we really focused internally on our SOPs and our team hiring and training strategy, because that was the bottleneck, right? And so since then, we've been able to position ourselves and develop a strategy where we always have room for more, and we're never going to sacrifice quality. And if it does get to that point again, you know, we will say no. We'll start the waiting list until we get positioned and continue to grow.
You know, it's good to know that you have somebody on your side that you can trust. because a lot of people would just like try to cover it up, or just it never happened, or just blew by it in case like hopefully nobody noticed. But that just doesn't work. And coming from a business which is so delicate with you with numbers, which numbers, yeah, they're very down to earth. They tell you exactly where the money is going, like just the key performance indicators. They tell you if it's working or not. That's where the money is going at. So having those right in front of you, yeah, it's a very it's the truth. You have to look at it as the truth.
It's a game changer. And sometimes we have to face the hard truths. But I mean, you said it, trust is so important. And I've had situations where we've had clients and I could just feel the energy of mistrust. And I'm very honest, like, look, you need to trust us. And if you don't trust us, let us take care of things until you find somebody else, because that trust piece is huge. And, you know, another thing that I think we should learn more about as law firm owners is how to actually work with and communicate with our bookkeepers. Right? Like, it's not a situation where you should bring in that metaphorical box of receipts and leave it there and expect no questions and just give me the finished result. Like, your input in working with your financial professionals is vital, because you are the visionary. You can have a fractional CFO and I can paint you a picture of whatever financial scenario you want to see, but that vision has to be your vision. You have to communicate it. You have to think about it long enough to know in detail what it is that you're building, and be intentional with your growth and communicate that to your CFO, your marketing manager, your team. Like, it all starts with you, because money can paint any picture you want me to paint, but you want it to be your vision.
Yeah. So you got to be able to communicate exactly what you want, because if you're aiming at nothing, you're going to hit at nothing every single time.
That part. Yeah.
Chelsea, I'm really having a very nice time with you, but I also know that we're growing closer to the end of this podcast. So I'm wondering, are there any last takeaways or any last nuggets of wisdom that you can share with our listeners out there?
I'll share a quote from the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And he says that profits are not about hitting it out of the park. It's not an event, it's a habit. And when it comes to money and accounting and finances, if you don't know anything about it, it is going to be overwhelming. Hard truth, it is going to be overwhelming. But if you take it one step at a time and compound your knowledge, you will get there. You don't have to be scared to face the numbers.
You're here. Chelsea, I want to thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your advice. Thank you also for sharing not only your advice, but also where to find some of these amazing pieces of information. Profit First, we all know it's a fantastic book for every law firm owner or true solo out there. It's something that you must see. But now we are at a close from this episode, so I just want to ask one final thing, which is, can you please let people know where they can find you and what you can do for them?
Yes, so head over to yourcoresolution.com, and on our website, we have all of our socials. You can check us out on almost any platform, and we've got everything that we do listed right there.
Well, Chelsea, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for sharing so much in this episode.
Thank you. This was fun.